everybody, I'm QB for Culturalist Theory, and today we're going from the bottom to the top of the catalog of Oakland's very own, Ledisi, who says CT don't have love for the West Coast. She built herself up on the independent scene before releasing her major label debut in 2007, and y'all know the way we count, so these right here are off the table. But don't sleep on them though, because our girl can blow. And spoiler alert, there's no such thing as a bad Ledisi album, so stay tuned because you may want to add some of these to your collection. Be sure to hit that like, follow, and subscribe button if you're not already tapped in. And remember, we've got a super thanks button down there, so show us some love if you want to. With all that out the way, let's get to it. Number 6, Let Love Rule. One of the things that makes a song timeless is that no matter when it was written, it can still be relevant whenever you press play. But on Shot Down, that proves to be a double-edged sword, as Ledisi reminds us right here.
Shot down before I even had a chance to run. The system says we matter, but the black lives only matter certain days.
A great song, yes, but also hard to listen to repeatedly because more than 5 years post-release, there's no shortage of stories like this one she describes on the track. Although Kirk Franklin has a writing and producing credit on this album finale, if you don't mind, literally the only thing we hear from him is "Hit me!" Which is kind of baffling because just as soon as you thought you were getting a Kirk Franklin and Ledisi duet, those hopes are quickly put to bed as she takes full control of the vocals. We're not too mad, just left wondering what might have been. John Legend shows up again on a Ledisi project, but this time it's to sing on Give You More, and while there's not a single complaint about the vocals on this duet, some better music behind it would have made this one even stronger. What is strong though is how Letty and longtime collaborator Rex Rideout come together on tracks like The Jam, Us Forever, featuring BJ the Chicago Kid, and the Grammy-nominated tracks All the Way and Single High. And the Single High, which will leave you wanting to get just that, on love that is, by the time she's done with the song. Add to Me is the slickest way of Ledisi doing a pre-qualification checklist on any potential new bays in song form. While not every track on this Grammy-nominated outing is as great as what we've touched on here, many singers will be hard-pressed to have an album of this caliber in their collection at all, no cap. Number 5, Wild Card. Take a look at this album cover, y'all. Just take it in for a minute. Does this not look like a woman who can absolutely tear the house down when she starts to sing? Anyway, the latest from Ledisi arrived in the summer of 2020 on the independent label Listen Black following a 3-year break. Wasting no time, the Wild Card kicks off with the song that nabbed her first Grammy win, The Heartfelt Anything For You. Call us crazy, but we're definitely getting some D'Angelo How Does It Feel vibes from it musically. Play the two back to back and leave us a note in the comments. The Robert Glasper touch is felt on the tracks Wake Up featuring Ciroc and Now or Never. For those of you who don't know, they've collaborated on some great music in the past and continues right here as well. Look up his Black Radio series for starters. And if you're looking for a new song to celebrate your favorite days of the week, look no further than Weekend, with plenty of good feels to melt away the stress of those other 5 days. You've never heard a situationship sound as good as it does until Letty sings about it on Same Love and then fully convicts us on Next Time that there will absolutely never ever be another chance to disappoint her in the future. When it comes to doing a cover better than the one who first made it, Ledisi is one of the best. Case in point is what she's done here on the album's finale, Without You. One of the more well-known renditions of this song on Mariah Carey's Music Box album in '93, and there's a very interesting backstory about the writers of the original. You can jump down that rabbit hole if you want to. With only a pinch of skips overall, this Wild Card turned out to be a winner, and hopefully the wait for some new Ledisi won't be too much longer. Number 4, Turn Me Loose. Before the flaps to the proverbial box that anyone would place her in could be folded, Ledisi defiantly rejected any such ideas with Turn Me Loose. Arriving nearly 2 years to the day after her major label debut in August '07, this '09 project just as easily could have been called Changes, with no less than 4 songs bearing the word in its title. Right from the intro running, you hear a whole new vibe going on with loud, in-your-face sounds and charged up vocals unlike any of her former work. Essentially, half of Turn Me Loose thrives on funky, live band-oriented dynamic, with the other half leaning more towards a traditional R&B sound. No need to be up on the original version of Them Changes to appreciate her cover of it, and the rock out till you drop out guitar and drums and invigorated streams throughout. Ledisi belts out true soul singer notes on the title track, while any negative energies get no time of day on Knockin'. Of course, urban radio stations wouldn't touch any of the songs sounding like that, then or now, which is unfortunate. But if you know, you know. Despite radio politics, Turn Me Loose topped the hip hop and R&B charts and was nominated for the Best R&B Album, whereas a well-deserved nod for Best Female R&B Vocal Performance was given to Going Through Changes. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis pitched in on Higher Than This, and don't miss out on the answer to Why either. I Need Love and Trippin' are about the only songs that don't quite measure up to the rest of the album. After catching wind of just how good Ledisi sounds when charged up and turned loose, you almost don't want her to go back. The New Orleans-born, Oakland-raised Ledisi Anabade Young first showed the world her singing talent with the New Orleans Symphony Orchestra at the tender age of 8. After forming a band bearing her middle name in the mid-90s, she eventually began releasing independent records in the early 2000s before hooking up with the Verve Forecast in 2005. Ledisi has also portrayed legendary gospel singer Mahalia Jackson not once, but twice on film. The first being in a minor role in 2014's Selma, and the feature role in 2022's Remember Me, the Mahalia Jackson Story, which also stars Columbus Short, Randy Raquel Robinson, and Janet Hubert. Definitely an entertaining way to brush up on some musical history. Alright, on to the top trio. Number 3, Lost and Found. Unless you were knee-deep in the know of neo-soul music, you would have been none the wiser that Ledisi had quietly arrived in the summer 2007 with the album Lost and Found and its super chill lead single Alright. Or maybe you randomly caught wind of her follow-up single In the Morning on VH1 Soul one day. And yeah, how many of y'all remember watching that channel back in the day? Certainly she made you do a double take with the impressive vocals coming right at you. If you were then convinced to buy the full album, you soon realized just what a gem you had on your hands. Today continued where Alright left off with uplifting, positive vibes that'll make you forget all the troubles of the day, while trying to make a difference in the world never sounded as fun as it does on Upside Down. Someday, Best Friend, and Think of You also feel too good not to run back again and again. While there are no absolute strays to leave in a box to the left, a few tracks are simply more ear-catching than others. Miraculously, Lost and Found carved a path to a Best R&B Album Grammy nomination against solid competition from Musiq Soulchild, Jill Scott, and Chaka Khan, while Letty herself received a Best New Artist nod alongside Taylor Swift and the late Amy Winehouse. With such a formidable intro to the mainstream audience, things could only get better from there. Number 2, The Truth. I Blame You was a single that initiated Ledisi's 2014 release, The Truth, which set the overall tone for the album, and that's upbeat and infectious. This is about the best song to take any blame for her leading to Lionel Richie dancing on the ceiling type of happiness and self-love. For a real treat, you can hear Letty scat and scream with joy on the acoustic version of the intimate Truth EP. That good, Missy Doubt, and Rock With You will keep you on your feet bopping around full of smile. And if you're wondering, the latter is not a cover of the MJ classic, but we bet the house that if she did attempt to cover it, she'd make them proud. Equally enjoyable is Like This, about the most laid-back track found on The Truth. That's certainly one you'll want to replay more than a few times. But Letty really had one up her sleeve with Lose Control, slowing things down and giving us a red light special on the most sensual track we've ever had the pleasure of hearing from her. The deluxe version adds 3 additional songs, with the standout easily being I Swear. Somehow, this is one of only 2 of her major label studio albums that did not get an R&B Album of the Year nod from the Grammys. But it's not the first time they've snubbed a deserving project of its proper recognition, nor will it be the last. The truth is, if you're an R&B fan who's managed to not be up on Ledisi music by now, start with this album and thank us later. Number 1, Pieces of Me. How's that old saying go? Third time's a charm? Re-emerging in the summer of 2011 with her 3rd major label release, the first 4 songs on Pieces of Me all ended up being singles. The album title track kicked things off and got the most shine, including 2 nods in the R&B category, and took the runner-up spot on the hip-hop and R&B charts. The related video is as bright and beautiful as the song itself. The lone vocalist featured here turned out to be a great one, as Jaheim and Ledisi feed nicely off of one another's energy on Stay Together. Loving on yourself is something Letty has been about from day one, so bravo and Be Good to Yourself are the songs to pull up when that's time to pop your collar and remember how awesome you are. She also wrote a song for all the naysayers out there, the ever so catchy Shut Up. And fellas, if your lady ain't as ecstatic as Ledisi is on So Into You when she's talking about you, just throw the whole relationship away. You ain't the one, bruh. And by the way, did we mention that this woman can sing? That song right there is worth listening to over and over again just to get back to that little part right there. But to touch on some other highlights, John Legend assisted in the writing of I Miss You Now, her sweet apology melody. While on simple, just as her words suggest, the song she sings will make you smile. And after listening to all the pieces of this album, that's exactly what'll be all over your face. We don't hear much about neo-soul these days, but there are plenty of artists still riding the wave. Let us know who are some of your favorites, past and present. And since we mentioned Mariah Carey and Musiq Soulchild earlier in this video, click either button right over here on the screen and check out our rundown of their catalogs to hold you over till next week. Once again, I'm QB for Culturalist Theory. Don't forget to hit those like, subscribe, and share buttons, and we'll see you next time.